Hey guys, welcome back to Daska Discusses. Yes, I've been doing a lot of gaming recently. I do love playing my video games, but it's time to get back to the roots of Daska Discusses, which is TV and movie reviews. So let's do this, shall we? Now, not necessarily giving a kind of review today, but what I'm going to be talking about are not mine, but we're going to go through some Cobra Kai Season 4 predictions. Now, let's have a look. I've loaded up a few websites here that could help us. The first one is denofgeek.com. Now, let's have a look at them, shall we? Season 4 predictions. Bang. Once again, a Cobra Kai finale is set the stage for a new villain and other potential conflicts that Season 4 could explore. Yeah? Fans of Cobra Kai come to expect surprise cameos from Karate Kid stars of the past, and that trend will likely continue in Season 4. This. We'll come back to that. One question we'll have: who is the other end of Kreese's phone conversation in Season 3 finale? Yeah. The fact he says, hey, long time, hints at a close associate, perhaps his war buddy Terry Silver. Now, the guy who plays Terry Silver is this guy here, Ian Griffith, who no longer acting, but still writes for TV and could make a return. We're going to talk about that in more detail. There are also several mysterious parents referenced in earlier seasons that could be identified as Season 4. They reckon that many fans thought wrongly that Tori's mother was Elizabeth Shue's character Ellie, but her kids are Lucas and Ava. Could we see Jessica Kennedy, aka, or Julie Pierce, Hilary Swank from Next Karate Kid as Tori's mum? I don't know about that. This one. And what if the original referee, Pat A. Johnson, returned from the All Valley tournament in the Season 4 finale? I mean, this guy's got to be what? He was like probably 40 back then, just say. It's a long time ago, so he's got to be getting up in his age. With this escalating surprises that Cobra Kai's already brought, Season 4 is likely to lean heavily into even more fun cameos. Okay, so there are those minor little predictions, right? The ones that I found which are most interesting that were on Reddit, out of all things, are as follows. So, don't know if you guys can read that, I'll just zoom in a bit. Hang on. Now, what's interesting about these is that I actually do believe the first thing I said when Season 3 ended was that if Kreese, he says, okay, let's do the old school way. If we win the tournament, then you're out of the valley. And if they win, etc., the other way around, right? So, major predictions here are from this guy on Reddit. Kreese wins the tournament. While it sounds crazy and dumb, I think Kreese might win the tournament. It would raise the stakes for Season 5 and 6. And also, we don't know what happens if Daniel and Johnny lose. Them losing the tournament would be the perfect time to show what Kreese was going to say. Now, I think in this All Valley tournament that's going to happen, that Kreese and Cobra Kai will win. Who actually fights in the tournament, we'll talk about in a sec what this guy thinks, but obviously, I think that's the only way to go, making Cobra Kai win. Now, as far as do they leave the valley? Do they leave their dojos? I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that's going to be the big thing that's going to happen in Season 4, that Cobra Kai are going to win. The Kreese tournament stipulation. We know Kreese is going to have to leave if he loses, but Johnny never let Kreese finish what he was going to say about Johnny and Daniel losing. True. I have a feeling it's not about them leaving karate. I think it might be them leaving the valley altogether. Kreese would be the kind of person to set those kind of stakes. It would cause Daniel to lose his business, which he might be messing with already. More about that later. And would cause Johnny to lose the ability to help Miguel and heal his relationship with Robbie. Interesting, yeah, that last bit of Season 3 that a lot of people miss, where you don't actually get to hear what Kreese was going to finish saying. Now, in terms of kicking them out of the valley completely, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think what will happen is in this tournament, right? Now, we'll talk about it in a second, but LaRusso Auto, at the end of Season 3, we see Kreese call someone. It's obviously going to be Terry Silver from Karate Kid 3. Both Silver and LaRusso are businessmen, except Silver is much bigger businessman. I think Silver's going to pull some strings and cause LaRusso Order to come crashing down. And then you've got Daniel's depression because of that. That's what the predictions are here. I think part of that could be true. One main thing is that Terry Silver's going to come back, I think, 100%. 99%, I'd say. Terry Silver will come back as obviously helping Kreese. Now, in terms of Mike Barnes, furthermore, this guy says that Mike Barnes could actually help Daniel. I don't believe that. I think if anything, Terry Silver will come back and, they're going to train Johnny's son And what's going to happen from there is going to be pretty full on, because if Terry Silver's back, he's a multimillionaire, he runs a lot of companies, and they'll run Miyagi-Do to the ground by using the similar kind of tactic they did in Karate Kid 3, where obviously Barnes wanted to fight LaRusso, and he got the fight that he wanted, but he lost. But can you imagine if Daniel ended up losing that fight? What would have happened? Cobra Kai would have been huge, like the biggest, obviously, martial arts franchise in the valley or whatever, but in the country, because that's how far they were pushing it. I think what's going to happen is, in a way, they'll win the tournament, right? Who fights in the tournament? We'll talk about that in a sec. They'll win the tournament, and they'll end up being really huge, and we're going to see a lot of season 4. I think when does the Valley tournament actually, All Valley tournament actually happen? I reckon it could happen probably episode, if there's 10 episodes, maybe episode 8 or 9. I don't think we'll leave it to the 10. It's got to be some sort of feedback that we've got to get after the tournament. So maybe episode 8, 9, I think, is where the All Valley tournament's going to happen. Now, Johnny's eventually going to propose to Carmen, and Silver's going to try and destroy everything. He's going to turn everyone against each other, just like he started to turn Daniel against Miyagi in Karate Kid 3. I don't think that Johnny and Carmen's subplot will be that much of a big deal in this. I don't know if he'll propose. Maybe he will, but I just think that the next season is going to be heavily Cobra Kai reference. Now, I'm wearing my Cobra Kai shirt, as you can see. Strike first, strike hard. I'm not saying look. Okay, let's talk about it. I actually like Kreese as a character, and especially after season 3, I think he's actually, he's got a lot more to it than just what we saw in Karate Kid 1 and 2 and 3, a bit of 3 anyway, a bit of 2 anyway, not even. I just think that Kreese, after what happened to him and all the flashbacks and all that, I actually do like his character. He is quite evil, but Martin Kove plays the role awesome. It's like it's a villain straight out of the 80s, and it works well. Hawk's temper, even though Hawk is good now, he probably still has an unhealthy amount of anger in him. I think Daniel ended up helping him control it. This will cause him to be a more stable fighter, possibly the best at Karate Kid. Cobra's. Look, I don't think Hawk. If anything, Hawk will. He'll be a key part of it, but I don't see him being the best fighter out of all of them. Minor predictions. The Mohawk, I'll skip that. Who cares? All Valley finals match. All right, so Robbie is going to be in the finals, obviously, okay? Now, what they're going to do, if you know the Cobra Kai series and the way they've been working so far, is that they do reference a lot of the old movies a lot, obviously. There's always flashbacks, there's always something like that. Now, even in the first All Valley tournament in season 1, there was a few little things about sweeping the leg, etc. But I think this is going to be heavily influenced by Kreese playing dirty, possibly. Now, Robbie, he's not that kind of evil kind of character yet, but something's going to turn where he's going to do the, like, remember when Johnny in Karate Kid 1, sweeping the leg, do you have a problem with that? No sensei, no mercy. The same thing's going to happen. Robbie's going to kind of like refuse to do it and then be on the verge of losing, and then he's going to do something dirty to win the fight, right? There's going to be no crane kick. There's going to be nothing like that. Who does he fight? Well, here's the thing. Miguel versus Robbie part 2, which I kind of don't want to see, this guy says. Or will we see Hawk or Dimitri fight Robbie in the finals? I don't think it'll be Dimitri. No way. Hawk, maybe. I think, look, with Miguel, with him getting better from being, like, hurt and, basically incapacitated and learning how to walk again, I think it'll be the right thing to do for the series to have that second fight. And with this, you're going to see Robbie win. Now, I think both these are a better choice than Miguel and Robbie too, just because it would avoid repetitiveness and give a new student a chance to shine. Robbie wins by fighting dirty. Well, there you go. This guy just said the same thing. Oh, there you go. I agree with that. I said that even before I read it. Get it? Read it. I think, look, I know, yeah, repetitiveness if it's, Robbie versus Miguel, but I just think that the animosity between what's happening, and I think the stakes, you've got Robbie, who's Johnny's son, then you got Miguel, who is Johnny's number 1 student. There's more emotional impact there, especially if Kreese is training Robbie as well, and you've got his number one student, Johnny. Does he want him to kick his own son up or beat him up? Well, yeah, because they're in this tournament. But again, it's his son we're talking about. Robbie is going to fight dirty. I'm telling you now, he's going to end up, the fight will be reminiscent of like a mixture of the Karate Kid 1 fight and part 3, where Barnes is just basically hitting him a lot, like illegally. And then in the end, Robbie wins by fighting dirty because Kreese tells him to sweep the leg or something like that. Other Valley matches, I'm thinking Hawk Dimitri will fight Kyler to get into the finals. Yeah, that'll probably happen. Maybe Miguel will fight Robbie in the semifinals, causing a shock when Miguel loses earlier than expected. Again, I think what they'll do to up the ante as well is maybe Robbie will fight Hawk and Miguel. Who knows? Also, I don't see Tori versus Sam happening in the tournament. If it does, I think they'll have an all-girls bracket. Sam versus Robbie in the finals will be interesting to see, but it wouldn't make too much sense story suspense-wise. I'm all for having like the female bracket side. That'd be interesting too. I reckon what they'll do with this is the Sam versus Robbie in the finals will be interesting to see. I think, Tori versus Sam. I think that will be more of an outside the valley kind of fight. Maybe in school again. I know we're really draining it with the whole school kind of example, or maybe even in the Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai setting, kind of like we had in season 3. Relationships, Hawk and Moon again, Sam and Miguel, Dimitri and Yasmin. I'm not really too fussed about the drama relationship stuff. So yeah, I just think in the end, you look at these predictions websites and you can make up your own mind really, but the main one that stands out for me is if Mike Barnes was to come back, like I said, it would be probably near the end of the season, and it'll be kind of like a last second kind of cameo that they're going to use for the last season or season 6, just say. So they'll have won everything, dominated everything, Terry Silver's in charge, etc. Then you've got Silver say, hey Chris, I got one last thing to show you or whatever, and then Mike Barnes walks in and he says, this is going to be the face of Cobra Kai, blah 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 blah, like they did in part 3. It's going to come back the same way tenfold. So that's what I think. And the major predictions, most of them are on point, but yeah, for now, if anything, one last thing, maybe all this stuff that's happening, Daniel and his wife could separate. There could be some sort of gap in their marriage there where they separate for a bit, I reckon, because it gets too much for his wife. So yeah, that's one thing from me. Let me know what you guys thought of the predictions that I went through. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are your predictions? Put them in the comments below. Please leave a like if you like the video. Please subscribe to stay up to date with all my videos and ring that bell. And like I said earlier, guys, strike hard, strike first, no mercy. See you next time on Daska Discusses. Boom.